Have you ever wanted something really, really badly and then found a way to mess it up yourself? Maybe you wanted to start a business, but you never quite got around to it. Maybe you liked someone, but you pushed them away before they could get close. Maybe you had a goal to run a half marathon, and right before race day you quit on yourself. We call this self-sabotage, and most of us think it means we're lazy or weak or just not put together enough. But what if I told you that's not what's really going on at all? What if self-sabotage isn't about being lazy? It's about something else. Welcome to Lessons for Life with Grandma Kate. If you're done with people-pleasing, tired of repeating the same patterns, and ready to learn what healthy relationships actually look like, you're in the right place. I get it. I was there too. At 65, I started learning the things I wish I'd known decades ago, like how to see the patterns, why we keep repeating them, and how to finally treat ourselves with the respect we always deserved. And somewhere along the way, I realized something that changed everything. When we don't understand our patterns, we pass them on. Not because we're bad parents, but because no one ever showed us anything different. That realization drives everything I do. So join my free weekly email community by signing up for my cheat sheet, See the Pattern Now What? For each episode, I'll help you name the pattern, show how it shows up in your life, explain the cost, and how to respond differently. Find the link in the show notes or visit lessonsforlifewithgrandmakate.com. Like a lighthouse, steady and strong, let's all shine a little brighter today. Self-sabotage is not a flaw in your character. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because that's just how you are. Self-sabotage is often rooted in fear. The problem is that most of us don't recognize the fear because it shows up as something else. Think about it. You put things off. Stay in a relationship but never fully let someone in. You have a big idea for years but never start it. We give these things lots of names. Bad habits. No motivation. Oh, I'm not ready yet. But underneath most of them, there's one thing. We're scared. And self-sabotage is how we deal with that fear without ever having to admit it's there. Here's the part that might surprise you. Self-sabotage is a coping mechanism. It's a way of protecting ourselves even when it costs us a lot. And the cost is real. The business that never gets started. The relationship that never gets deeper. The half marathon that is never completed. But the biggest cost is the regret of never finding out what we are truly capable of. The more we let fear drive our decisions, the further we drift from the rich, meaningful life we want to live that is filled with love, connection, and purpose. We trade the life we want for the relief of staying small. So where does this fear come from? Usually not from logic. It comes from old beliefs and experiences that we've carried with us for years. Thoughts like, I'm not a runner. I can't run a business. People will find out I'm a fraud. These thoughts didn't come from clear thinking. They came from experiences that often started in childhood, and now they run quietly in the background, shaping our choices without us even noticing. This isn't random. It's a pattern. If you look back far enough, you'll probably see your self-sabotage shows up the same way over and over. Same trigger, same thought, same way out. Once you see it as a pattern instead of a personal failure, something shifts. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what is this pattern trying to protect me from? That question is where real change begins. When I take a day trip by bus to the city, I lug around a backpack filled with things I think I might need. Books, my iPad, notebooks, chargers, extra supplies like Tylenol. It's heavy, but I keep carrying it because I want to be prepared. This one day, I stopped and asked myself a simple question. Why am I carrying all this stuff? At first, my answer sounded reasonable. I might want to read. I might want to be productive. I want to be ready for pretty much anything that comes my way. But then I dug a little deeper, and I realized the backpack wasn't really about the stuff inside. It was meeting a need. The backpack helped me feel safe, prepared, responsible. But what it was really doing was helping me avoid guilt. If I packed books, my iPad, and work to do, I had the ability to be productive if I wanted to. But the backpack was doing something else too. It became a visible reminder that I was being responsible, productive, and prepared. Even if I spent the entire bus ride looking out the window, the backpack was proof that I wasn't wasting time. I had things to do. I was ready if I wanted to use them. As long as I carried that proof with me, I didn't have to feel guilty about taking a break. But what I really wanted was a break. I wanted permission to rest. The interesting thing I've learned is that taking breaks actually helps me. Taking a few hours to relax, think, and recharge helped me be more productive the next day. But instead of giving myself what I actually needed, I lugged around a backpack full of stuff that made me feel like I was being productive. The backpack gave me temporary relief from guilt, but it also kept me from getting the rest I needed. Underneath it all was fear, not fear of failing, but fear that I wasn't doing enough. Fear that if I gave myself permission to rest, I was being lazy. Fear that I was wasting valuable time. That's when I started thinking about self-sabotage. Most of the things we do that hold us back make perfect sense in the moment. They meet a need. They help us avoid a feeling. They protect us from discomfort. My backpack wasn't filled with books, chargers, and an iPad. It was filled with the belief that I had to earn my rest, and that belief was keeping me from the very thing I needed. I wonder how many of us are carrying emotional backpacks filled with beliefs that are keeping us from getting what we need most. Here are this week's 5 lessons that have helped me, and I hope they will help you too. Life lesson number 1. Self-sabotage is usually self-protection. Most of us think self-sabotage means we're lazy, or weak, or that we just don't have enough discipline. But that's not really what's going on. Self-sabotage is a coping strategy. It's our way of trying to protect ourselves from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of not being enough. For example, someone signs up for a half marathon. They train for weeks and feel excited about it. But as race day gets closer, work gets busy. Family commitments start taking over. They miss a few runs here and there, then a few more, and before long, they've stopped training altogether. On the surface, it looks like life simply got in the way. But underneath, there may be something else going on. Fear of failing, fear of not finishing, fear of finding out they're not as capable as they hoped. The missed runs weren't the real problem. The fear underneath them was. Self-sabotage is a way of coping. And life lesson number 2. Every pattern makes sense. My backpack wasn't really about the books, the chargers, or my iPad. It was helping me avoid the guilt of taking a break I needed. Once I understood what the backpack represented, I finally understood why I packed it for every bus trip and lugged it around all day. The same is true for so many of our patterns. Before you try to change a behavior, stop and ask yourself, how is this helping me? The answer might surprise you. Life lesson number 3. Temporary relief often comes with a cost. The backpack gave me relief. Temporary relief from guilt. As long as I was carrying it, I could tell myself I was being on top of things. But that relief came at a cost. It kept me from giving myself the one thing I actually needed: rest. And as I mentioned before, the irony is rest helps me be more productive the next day, not less. So much of self-sabotage works exactly the same way. We keep choosing the short-term relief over the long-term benefit again and again without realizing that's the trade we're making. Temporary relief can keep us from getting what we need most. And life lesson number 4, fear often wears a disguise. Fear doesn't always look like fear. Sometimes it looks like procrastination. Sometimes it looks like overpreparing. And sometimes it looks like staying busy all day with things that don't really matter. And sometimes it looks like carrying a backpack full of things you don't need, because that feels a lot safer than admitting you just need a break. The disguise is so convincing that most of the time, we never even notice fear is the one driving. If you keep repeating the same pattern, look for the fear hiding underneath it. And life lesson number 5, curiosity creates change. Here's the turning point. It's not asking, what's wrong with me? It's asking, what is this pattern trying to protect me from? When we get curious instead of critical, we stop fighting ourselves and start understanding ourselves. We stop treating ourselves as the problem and start trying to understand the pattern instead. So the next time you catch yourself procrastinating, overpreparing, staying small, or talking yourself out of something you want, try asking, what is this pattern trying to protect me from? Because the moment you stop treating yourself as the problem and start understanding the pattern, real change becomes possible. Kids learn how to handle fear by watching us handle ours. That means letting kids see you try something even when you're not sure you'll be good at it. It means saying, I'm nervous about this, and I'm going to do it anyways. It means letting them see you take a step forward even when fear is present. When kids see an adult name a fear instead of hiding it and then take a small step forward anyway, they learn something most of us never learned. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's just a feeling that you can walk through, not around. Self-sabotage isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that something, somewhere, is trying to protect you. The procrastination, the over-preparing, the backpack full of things you don't really need, none of it is random. It's fear wearing a disguise so convincing that most of us never recognize it for what it is. My backpack wasn't filled with books, chargers, and an iPad. It was filled with a belief that I had to earn my rest. What beliefs are you carrying? What fears are hiding underneath them? This week, pay attention, notice the pattern, and when you catch yourself in it, ask the question that changes everything. What is this pattern trying to protect me from? Because the moment you stop treating yourself as the problem and start understanding the pattern, real change becomes possible. And that question might be the first step toward putting down a backpack you've been carrying for years. Whether you're starting to understand yourself more clearly or learning to do things differently, you're building the skills to grow into the person you're meant to be. Learning is important, but real change happens when you use what you've learned. That's why I've created a cheat sheet. See the pattern, now what, for today's episode. Join my free weekly email community. Each week, I'll help you name the pattern, show how it shows up in your life, explain the cost, and how to respond differently. Find the link in the show notes or visit lessonsforlifewithgrandmakate.com. And if you want more life lessons like this, be sure to follow Lessons for Life with Grandma Kate on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If this episode resonated with you, there's a link in the show notes to show your appreciation. Either way, I'm grateful for you being here. If no one has told you lately, everything will be okay. Tomorrow is a new day, and with it comes new hope. As I conclude this episode, I must state that this podcast is designed solely for educational and entertainment purposes. While I bring my experience as a parent and grandparent, it's essential that you know I am not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not a substitute for professional advice from a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Got it? Awesome. Until next time, what is one thing you are grateful for?